Hi everybody, my name is Rupa, working as assistant professor in Cherbourg Engineering College. I am dealing the subject Power Electronic Controllers and Drives. And today's topic is various blocks that are included in closed loop drives. So this is the last topic of the third unit. Closed loop drives. In this closed loop drives, we are having so many subtopics. In that, the subtopic is field winding. So in before figures, I have provided the speed control up to the base speed only. So if you want to increase the speed control above the base speeds, then field control must be combined with the armature voltage control. Okay, so field control from 0 to base speed, it should be done at maximum field by armature voltage control. And the control above the base speed should be done by field weakening at the rated armature voltage. So this can be what I have said. This is implemented in this figure 5.2. This is an inner current control scheme in which we are taking additionally a loop for the field control. This field control is controlled by a controlled rectifier. If you see in the field control loop, the EMF E is equal to, actually what is the formula of back EMF E? VA minus IA RA. Okay, so first this back EMF E is compared with the reference voltage E star. This is the reference voltage, it is compared with the E star. So now this is chosen between this, actually this E star will be chosen between 0.85 to 0.95 of the total rated armature voltage. And if you take the higher value for the user for the motors with a low armature circuit, then we can attain the speeds below base speed. If field controller saturates due to large values of the error ER, these are applied to the rated voltage across the fields. So this we can get that the maximum field current for the motor operation below the rated speed only. So when it is closer to the base speed, the field controller will be comes out of saturation. Now we have to see that the reference speed omega m star, it is set for speed above the base speed. A positive error is produced and the current reference IA star, it is set for high values. First we have to set this, and after that these are set for high values. And now here the firing angle of the armature rectifier, it is reduced to initially the voltage VA. Firing angle is of the armature rectifier is reduced to initially the voltage angle, the voltage value EVA. Now the motor will be accelerating and the back EMF will be increasing, and field control loop error ER will be decreasing. This one. So as it decreases the field current also. Now the motor speed will be continues to increase. In the process, there will be decrease in the field current until the motor speed is set at a value which is demanded by omega m star. This one, which is demanded. This demands some particular speed. Until the particular speed attains, the field current will be decreasing. So as the speed error ERR will be now very a small value, VA will be returned to the value which is original value. So speed control above the base speed is obtained by the field weakening, and the armature terminal voltage will be maintained near the rated values. In the field weakening region, the drive will be responding very slowly. Because it is having large field time constant, the drive will respond very slowly. And the field will be forcing, sometimes it is forcing to improve the transient response. But when it forces this, the method becomes complex. For this control rectifier, we can use half controlled rectifier. but actually we have to use fully control. It is more preferable than the half control, because there is the ability to reverse the voltage. Now the fully controlled rectifier can reduce the field current much faster than the half controlled rectifier. So mainly fully controlled rectifier are more preferable. There are various blocks of closed loop drives. Now the main topic is closed loop drives. Now we are discussing about the various blocks of the closed loop drive. So the first one is depending upon the figure, there are various blocks regarding the figures before 5.1 and 5.2. So first one is speed sensing. Okay, so in this speed sensing, we are using two methods for speed sensing. First one is induced voltage sensing, and second one is by using tachometers. Okay, so by use of tachometers, you are I think you are familiar, as you do this in the labs for calculating the speed of the motor or generator. We use tachometers there. So now speed, first one, the speed will be proportional to back EMF at a constant speed, right? So if field control is not used, then speed can be sensed by measuring the back EMF. Nothing but E is equal to VA minus IARA. And the accuracy of measurement, it is affected by difficulty in sensing the armature current, because there are some ripples present in the waves. So the accuracy will be not perfect due to, because of the ripples, and the variation of flux due to the field supply, there will be getting disturbances also, and the variation of temperatures of the field and armature windings also. So this method is inexpensive, and it provides a speed measurement with an accuracy of plus or minus 2% of the base speed. Inexpensive, but little bit approximately, but it can provide accuracy at a rate of plus or minus 2. And the other than first one, this second one will be giving accurate speed regulation. So this use of tachometers will give more accurate speed regulation from the motor shaft. A tachometer is such a device that it is AC or DC generator with a higher order of linearity between its speed and the output voltage. Suppose if you take for DC drives, the DC tachometers are usually used. This DC tachometer, it is built with a permanent magnet field and sometimes with silver brushes also, because if you use the silver brushes, there will be reduction in contact drop between the brush and the commutator. And the voltages are voltage outputs are 10 volts per 1000 RPM. This tachometer will be consisting, the output voltage of the tachometer will be consisting of ripple whose frequency will be depending upon the speed. If you are measuring at low speeds, adequate filtering can be only done by a filter which is having a large time constant. So this affects the dynamics of the drive. And for a large diameter tachometers, there will be a large number of commutator segments, and sometimes they are built to overcome this problem also. And tachometers are available to measure speed with an accuracy of plus or minus 0.1% only. So if you compare the both one, induced voltage sensing, it is having an accuracy of plus or minus 2%, but this tachometer is having plus or minus 0.1%. Okay, and this tachometer should be coupled to the motor with a torsionally shift coupling, so that this will be the natural frequency of the system of the armature, and the tachometer will be lying beyond the bandwidth of the speed control loop. If it is not coupled perfectly, then there will be out of measurements. when there are very high speeds, accurates are required. Very perfect measurement should be required at the high speeds, as in computer peripherals and paper mills and so on. So at this place, digital tachometers are used. Okay, so a digital tachometer, it employs a shaft encoder. It will be giving a frequency proportional to the motor speed. This encoder, it consists of a transparent plastic or aluminum disc. This is mechanically coupled to the motor shaft, and the transparent plastic disc is alternately, it is painted black on its periphery, that means on the circumference, to provide the alternately transparent and non-transparent parts. If you take a aluminum disc, it is having number of holes or slots, and these are uniformly made around its periphery. An optocoupler unit, it will be, this is an optocoupler unit. It will be consisting of light source and a light sensor. So in order to measure with this, we have to mount the disc that will be running between the light source and the sensor. Now the sensor will be sensing the light source. Whenever a transparent part or slot or hole crosses the optocoupler, and the voltage pulse is produced there. Now the frequency of the pulse train, it is proportional to the speed of the shaft. This is speed sensing. Next one is current sensing. This is current sensing in a three-phase fully controlled rectifier. So if you want to avoid any interactions between the control circuit carrying low voltage and current and the power circuit, which is involving high voltage and high currents and substantial amounts of harmonics, isolation will be provided between two circuits, right? So except in low voltage converters, the current source should be provided isolation, because low voltage will be leading with low ratings. So when we are coming to the high voltage converters, this should be compulsory provided with isolations. And what is current sensing means? The currents in the AC lines of the rectifiers, they carry information on the DC side armature current when the freewheeling is not present. The rectified output of the current transformer, for this, the primary is connected to the AC lines, and this will be giving a signal which is proportional to the armature current. One single phase current transformer, it is needed for a single phase rectifier, enough. Okay, so a three-phase current transformer, actually it is preferred for three-phase rectifier. Single phase current transformer for single phase rectifier, and three-phase current transformer, it is preferred for a three-phase rectifier. But we can use here in place, although we can use single phase transformers, but it is advisable to use only three-phase transformers. And coming to the frequency, this frequency of the ripple in the rectified current of a three-phase transformer, it will be 3 times of the single transformer. Because there is a higher frequency of the ripple, the filter time constant will be lower, and it is giving a faster response of current control loop. This figure is having some limitations. What are the major limitations means? The major limitations of this scheme are, it cannot sense the current direction. Okay, so it is a main disadvantage when we are employing freewheelings. So this machine, this drive cannot be used for rectifiers employing the freewheeling. And this current sensing, it is widely used due to its low cost, simplicity, and reliability. And a number of methods, these are available for the direct sensing of armature current. We are using mainly two commonly used methods. The first method is, it will be involving the use of current sensor, which is having Hall effect also. And it also has this ability to sense the current direction also, whether it is in forward direction or reverse direction. And it is also commercially available for wide range of currents. Suppose range of currents means few amperes to several hundred amperes also. So if you take a example of present situation, the frequency will be 400 Hz. This is the first method. Coming to the second method, it involves the use of non-inductive resistance, which is connected in conjunction with the isolation amplifier. And this arrangement for amplification and isolation between the power and control circuits is in use. But due to the shunt, it is having some limitations. The main limitations of the shunt is that it provides only a small output voltage. So this will be in the order of 7.5 milliwatt volts to 75 millivolts at rated current. And there is also another disadvantage. If you use the shunts of higher resistance, this will be resulting in increased power dissipation and drift of resistance with temperature. Both will be increasing. Power dissipation will be increased, and the drift of the resistance with temperature will also be increased. Right? So if you want to use any speed drive, we have to first ensure that there is accurate sensing of current, and drop across the interpole winding is used for current sensing. If you take the isolation transformer, it is used for following before circuits, this one 5.3 circuits. The voltage drop across the shunt, it is filtered, amplified, modulated, and then it is applied to the primary of the isolation transformer. And the output from the isolation transformer is demodulated by a phase sensitive demodulator, and it is filtered and it is buffered, and after that all the process, it is applied to the output terminals. And this advantage of the method is it also senses the current direction, whether it is positive or negative. In the alternative scheme, if you want to use the alternative scheme, the shunt voltage drop will be filtered first. Okay, so after that, after the filtering process, it is amplified, and then it is processed through an opto isolator. After getting into the opto isolator, it is buffered and then brought to our output terminals. Since we are using the opto insulator, its gain is temperature dependent and it is not linear. Two identical opto isolations are employed in a feedback loop to compensate the non-linearities. Okay, and the direct sensing of armature current using a shunt, it is fast when compared to the indirect sensing, which involves the current transformer. But it is more expensive. Though the time is less, it is more expensive. Next one, it is about PI controller. The error detector, PI controller, and the limiter, these are combined in the single circuit. What we are showing in the, what I am showing in the figure. Error detector, PI controller, and the limiters. If you take the diodes D1 and this is the Zener diode, DZ2 is the Zener diode, DZ1 is the Zener diode 1. So if you consider the diode 1 and Zener diode DZ2, it provides limitations on the maximum positive voltage, and the diode D2 and the Zener diode DZ2, these provide limitations in the maximum negative voltage. So one will be providing the limitations in the low range, minimum range, and other one at the maximum range. And when this circuit forms a part of the inner current, control loop will be limitations, will be applying limitations so as to restrict the magnitudes of the control voltage VA. So this provides a it will be giving ensure to restrict the magnitudes of control voltage, and it provides a restriction on the top of the firing angle. So I will be explaining in next section that one. Next, if you employ this in the if you want to employ this in the speed loop, that will restrict the maximum positive and negative values of current reference. Okay, if you take only single quadrant drive, negative current reference, it is not required. So diode D2 will be used instead of diode D2, DZ2 and D2. Okay. Next, we will see the transfer function of the circuit in the linear region. Says the transfer function of the circuit in the linear region, and its operation is given by Gc of S is equal to Kc into 1 plus S tau C by S. Remember, this is the first equation. And second equation, where from this we can say that tau C is equal to CR2 and Kc is equal to 1 by R1C. These are the first two equations. Now we will see the transfer characteristics of rectifier and the control circuit. Both. So if you observe that the firing angle of the rectifier, it is a discrete process. After that, we have to change the rectifier firing angle, and it has been assessed. That means ratio, this one like that. Probability. A three-phase fully controlled rectifier, it is fed by a 50 Hz source, and it takes from 0 to 3.33 milliseconds. Okay, so this is the time interval 0.33 milliseconds. It is the time interval between two connective fire stations. So as the see here, the mechanical time constant of the motor is much larger when compared to the delay time. Actually, we are taking the delay time as 2 to 10 milliseconds. Actually, the delay time is ignored and the firing angle will be changed in the instantaneous values. By the simultaneously, the firing angle values will be continuously changed instantaneously. So with the approximation, the rectifier can be modeled simply as a gain element. And as we are taking this approximate model to apply to various waves, so the model is found and it is adequate when the aim is to design the adequately damper system. If you want to aim any damper system, then this is created. But this is not very close to the what do you say, means it is not very close to the stability limit. But we have to improve by approximate model. So if you add a term 1 by 1 plus s delta s tau t to the gain, where tau d is the average delay, that is equal to 1.67 milliseconds. And this value is for 3-phase fully controlled rectifier, and it is a value of 5 milliseconds for a single phase rectifier when they are fed by the frequency source of 50 Hz natural frequency. And now the characteristics, transfer characteristics of the control unit, they can be selected to match the transfer characteristics of the converter also. So because of this, I am using this for considering the transfer characteristics of the combination. If you take the conventional operation of 3-phase and single-phase rectifiers under continuous conduction only, no discontinuous conduction, from the equations 3.16 and 3.78, we can write VA is equal to V alpha cos alpha. And if you want to generate a reference timing wave, it is given by the following equation: VR is equal to VRM cos alpha. Now, if you produce a firing angle where VC is equal to VR, so I can make it as 5.58, then VC is equal to VM cos alpha. And from the equations 3 and 5, see it from the equations 3 and 5, the gain of the combination KE is very constant, is a value of constant, and it is given by Ka is equal to V1 by C, that is equal to V omega by Vm. So that is a constant term, and make it as 6th equation. So if you see the transfer characteristics here as shown in the figure before, figure 5.5b, we obtain those characteristics. And this is known as this one, B1. This is known as inverse cosine firing scheme. Because if you go to the equation, the firing angle of alpha is an inverse cosine function of the control voltage VC. Okay, so the reference weak, now only the reference weak is left over with 1. So now the reference wave here, VR, this one. When the reference where VR is timed to have its peak at alpha is equal to 0. For alpha is equal to 0, the wave will be starting. And for a single phase rectifier, which is shown in figure 3.7, before figures I have shown you, the voltage leads to the source voltage V by 90 degrees. And the firing angle pulses rectifier of the firing angle pulses of the thyristor T1 and T2, these are produced at the increase of VC. Sorry, VR, reference voltage, and VC, both. And if you observe the firing angle between the T2 and T4, these are produced at the intersection of minus VR. And VC also there. So if you take a 3-phase converter, in figure before figures what I have shown you, we are is time to have the peak at pi by 3 only. So that's why there is an instant for which alpha is equal to 0 also. And if you see the 5.6 phasor